friends, my only friends. Okay, so today we're here for another Friday night broadcast. I really like using my hands. Anyways, so the two topics are, can we establish a health requirement on food? And the second one is Obama style, like Gangnam style, right? David. Eliza. Sorry, Obama style. Okay. So the first one is about health requirements on foods. And I was thinking, which is never a good thing, but I was thinking, and one of the big problems we have in America is, one of them is obesity. There are others, but one of them is obesity. And obesity accounts for like 1/3 of all Americans. I believe it's 1/3 of all Americans. And if you think about it, it's a lot. You may say like, oh, 1/3 of a cookie. That's not that much. But if you think about it, 1/3 of a country, that's a lot of people, right? And a lot of these problems are, the reason why people are so, some reasons why people are obese is because, they're not active enough, or, they have stress problems, they have, family problems, issues, personal issues, whatever it may be. And also, when people are stressed, they'll eat, or people just really like the comfort of eating. It's just food, food, that's a big problem. I mean, food's not a problem. I mean, I love food, but that's one of the things that cause obesity. And you think about it, there's a lot of healthy food, and then there's bad food. There's healthy food like apples, crackers, vegetables, yogurt, milk, all those beautiful my plate kind of foods, And then you have the bad food. You have over-processed 400 milligram sugar and sodium stuff. Then you have the chips, and then you have, actually one example is Chipotle. I don't know if you've been there, but there's a burrito that's 900 calories. If you think about that, that's 900 calories. Tons of fat, tons of sodium. I'm not here to preach or anything, I'm just saying. So I was thinking, maybe in order to, because the future of America relies on children. And if our future generation cannot even walk, then how are we supposed to even run this country? Yep. Oh, like the movie WALL-E, right? The people are in their little cars, and then they're to their jobs. That cannot run a country, people. Our people must be strong, and our people must be able to run a country. And in order to do that, we need to be healthy and fit. So I think it is kind of unconstitutional, but what about establishing maybe a calorie requirement on food, right? Maybe a health requirement on food. Set this amount of calories cannot be manufactured, or this amount of fat cannot be manufactured, sodium, that kind of stuff, right? So that people, there's a limit on calories. And you guys brought up good points, right? So you guys are saying this is totally unconstitutional, right? The government does not have a right to limit us on what we eat, on why we eat it. It's just getting in too personal, right? And that's something that I think the framers or the founders didn't want us to get, didn't want for that to happen. They didn't want government to be too involved in the personal lives of people. And if you think about it, that is getting really personal in the people's lives. But then it also benefits the common good. Another thing was that people will find loopholes, right? People will just buy twice the amount of that food. Or they'll just eat the serving requirement, or double the serving size, or triple, or quadruple, or whatever, quintuple. I'm really bad at math. Quintuple, everything like that. They'll just eat more and more and more and more of it, and it's pretty much like the calorie requirement isn't being enforced. And the thing is, you really can't enforce that calorie requirement. It's up to the person to make sure that they're more healthy, or make sure that they're eating healthier. So, I think it's more of the government taking another step and trying to fix it, but it's really up to the people. If you think about it, those My Health government stuff, Michelle Obama is great. She'll talk about let's get motivated, let's get up and running. Well, what if I don't want to go up and running? What if I'm tired? What if I want to sit and just watch TV or watch Toddlers and Tiaras? I can do that because I have a right to do that. I have a right to do whatever I want. I can sit and just watch TV. So that's one issue. That's one issue. I'm going to leave that open-ended. I'm not even going to close it because that's just so many possibilities with that one. And then second one was Obama style. So I believe it was an Iran military spokesman, and he took a picture of himself, and he had smeared mud all over his face, and he had a caption saying Obama style. Okay. So immediately this guy started getting hate. And I mean, as many of you know, President Obama is, of course, African American. And I think this guy was poking fun at him. Like, first thing, it's a person. Let's take it to that level first. It's a person. That's discriminatory, that's racist, and that's not cool, right? You really, really shouldn't be making fun of another person and just, I mean, if you think about that, it's rude, right? It's kind of like, ha ha ha, you're African American, you're president. I mean, the president, and then there you go. The president you should have the utmost respect to the president, right? Even if it's not your president, it's the nation's leaders, right? They do so much for the countries. They try to help. They try to help in wars. They help economically, socially, politically, all that kind of stuff. And then you go up and you go to them and you discriminate them. Really, there should be the utmost respect for these people. They are leading a country, and of course, they're people. That is definitely not. It's kind of like the civil rights thing. But I mean, like, of course, it's Iran, so they don't have the same thing. But if it was in our country, it really isn't fair. Like, we can't discriminate somebody in the United States just because of their race, their color, their ethnicity, or any gender, right? We can't do that. But over there, they don't have the same laws that we do. So that's why I was thinking maybe an international law, maybe for all, there should be a certain kind of respect for all kinds of nations' leaders, that, you can't post this kind of thing and say, say a bad word about a race, like racial slurs to another president, right? You really shouldn't. There should be like an international law. And so, what was I going to say? Darn it. No. And so then and then there was another, oh man, I forgot. Darn it. Okay. There should be so I said it's like the international law. And then also that if maybe people were more, more culturally educated, they wouldn't be discriminating against another person. I just think it's wrong in the first place. Like, why would you do that? And of course, this guy receives a lot of hate. And if he was a citizen, I'm sure the government would have done something. I'm sure that, they wouldn't have let that go on slip. But then if you think about it, it's the freedom of expression. If he wants to go ahead and say, I don't like Obama, then go let him do that. But of course, wait a second, he's not a U.S. citizen, so he doesn't have that right. I know what Iran has, because it's another president. And if he wants to contribute to the government, then he can, because he can contribute to the government. All ideas are welcome. Yep. Wow, I finished really quickly, and I spoke really quickly. Anything else I want to say? Just want to say have a good weekend, and I'm sorry I forgot. That was actually a really awkward pause that I just forgot, and I was like, I'll do that a lot. Sorry, guys, and have a good weekend, and have fun doing whatever you do on the weekend. So, thank you for listening, and bye. If this computer will turn off. This will not turn